Okay, I think we're live.
I think we are.
All right. Hello, everyone. We're live. How's everything?
I think everything is good. I'm excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me, Thomas, to talk about slow and thoughtful reading.
I'm thankful you reached out about this. I believe it was you, or was I reaching out?
I think you initially said, "Hey, let's have a live stream," and I followed up with you, and now here we are.
Well, thank you for following up.
But I mean, either way, it doesn't matter. It's just good to. Oh, it's always good to talk with you, Thomas. So.
Well,
Yeah.
It's always great to talk to you and just all the many other booktubers out there.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. Same here.
Well, so I don't know how we go about. I have no notes because this is a topic that's near and dear to my heart.
Yeah. No, I think we both resonate with this idea of slow reading. I know I recently made a couple of videos about it, and I know it's something you've often talked about. And in fact, on my I did a recent video about my, I guess, about does reading speed matter, and about my challenges as somebody who reads slowly, because it's something that I've always felt self-conscious about. And it's not even booktube related. Like, I felt self-conscious about being a slow reader my whole entire life, mostly thanks to grade school, I think. And I don't know, it was interesting because I I feel like I've changed my thoughts about this. And especially since making that video, I've realized, wow, like I think I am more at peace. I won't say I'm totally happy with it, like 100%, but I am far more at peace with being a slow reader than I ever have been before. And I never thought that would be possible for me. But I have to say that in the comment section, there were some people, a lot of people who said they could relate. And there were a couple of people in the comment section who said, I love that you're bringing attention to this, that you and Thomas are talking about slow reading. And that other people, I guess, on BookTube are bringing attention to being a slower reader and the benefits of that, and just the relationship with that. So, Thomas, what is your relationship with reading slowly? Because I know it's something you talk about often on your channel.
I think I've just been a slow reader, slow and thoughtful. Maybe not thoughtful until I've become, an adult. But like as a kid, I was never the fastest reader.
Mm.
I think, just seeing words on a page as a young lad could be overwhelming.
Mhm.
And also wanting to read, that definitely takes, adds some influence to how I approach reading. So if I want to read a book and if I'm excited about it, maybe I'll blow through it. But really the thoughtful aspect came in, once again, let me tell you, Name of the Wind. That
Yes.
book, number one, it helped me discover my taste in reading and in books, but it also helped me discover, like, wow, this can be reading, but this can be fantasy stories. Like it doesn't have to be about the typical tropes. So then I'm like, okay, if this is what storytelling and fantasy can be like, this makes me think and makes me feel. And this is what I want. So I don't know. That type of writing style also had me slowing down because the book was slow. And before I go on a run on sentence.
No, I love it. I love it because every time you talk about Name of the Wind, it makes me want to reread it. It's been a few years now. My husband, that's his favorite. It might be his favorite book of all time, or it's his favorite fantasy book for sure.
I think
And
it
it
might be.
also opened the door or the gateway for him to wanting to read more fantasy. And I agree. I think there's something that invites you to have a slow, immersive experience with the book. When I was reading the book, I read like 5 pages. I was reading a very slow structured way because I was trying to get into the routine and habit of reading every day. So I gave myself a minimum of like 5 pages a day or 5 minutes a day. And even if I just read a few pages, I would just find myself wanting to read more and a little bit more and just breathe in the world. There's something about that kind of writing or that kind of storytelling that makes you just want to breathe in the world. It makes you just want to settle in. So
Yeah,
I totally hear you on that.
absolutely. Yeah. I mean, especially with fantasy,
Yes.
when it's not our world. But even then, I think it's the characters. How characters are written, it makes me
Mhm.
want to sit with them a little longer, regardless of what world or what is taking place. I want to sit with them. Uh, yeah. Real quick, I don't want to ignore everyone in the chat. I need to just say hello to everyone. David, hey, let's go. ZK in AK, hello. Woods, yo. Uh, Evan finally made it to the first live. Awesome. Glad you're here. Happy days. I usually watch both your channels. Well, here we are collabing. Yeah, it's that author. How you doing? And he'll be back in 30 minutes or so. London, love it. Been there once. I need to go back as an adult. Ryan, uh, hey everyone. Okay. Anyways, ooh, I'm taking Wheel of Time super slow right now. I think taking my time with it has made it so much more enjoyable than if I tried to rush. Yes. Something I always say on my channel, and I'll say it again and again, I'll probably say it in a video I'm filming tomorrow, is that you can only read a book for the first time once.
Mhm.
And that, as an adult, 31 years of age, I just love the quiet and I love slowing down. And that attitude and approach to anything, to reading, to video games, to movies and TV shows, you can only experience that thing for the first time once. And if you rush through it, are you really, taking it in and being thoughtful?
Yeah, yeah, so the thoughtful part was interesting because I was talking with my husband about being a slow reader, and he said, "You're constantly calling yourself a slow reader, and you have this negative association with calling yourself that. What if you instead?" Because he's a counselor, so he loves to reframe things. So he said, "What if instead you called yourself a thoughtful reader?" I was like, "Oh, okay, maybe I'm a thoughtful reader then. Well, we'll call it that." But I think there is some merit to saying that I'm certainly not shaming anybody who reads naturally fast, because I know some people just read naturally
Exactly.
fast. Like my mom, for example, she can read super fast. It blows my mind. And she's able to visualize everything. She's able to connect emotionally and get different layers and subtext and analyze it. Like she's just gifted in that way. Though she will say that she feels her memory suffers maybe a little bit as a result. But I think there is something to be said about savoring, like you were saying.
Oh,
There's
same.
a wonderful channel I was watching. It's called Tristan and the Classics. A channel that focuses on classics. And this guy was saying that one of the benefits of being somebody who's a slow reader, I don't think he himself was, but he was saying for people who are a slow reader, it could be like going into a museum and being able to take your time with each art piece and really savor it rather than just rush through the museum
Yeah.
and just kind of glimpsing stuff, which
Yeah.
I would not want to do. But yeah,
Roby, hey,
hey there, Toby.
dropping in real quick, taking the kiddo to football practice and hitting the gym. Real quick, last week, I was teaching my nephew chess and checkers. Beautiful. He's understanding it. TV turns on. We're all about to watch a movie, but then I'm like, you know what? Let me just go throw the football with my brother-in-law. And then I'm like, you know what? Let's get the nephew involved. Got the whole family playing football. It was awesome. Amazing. Summer day. Um, I haven't been to a museum in so long, and you bring that point up with just taking that environment in. And there's a particular decorum and behavior you're supposed to have in a museum and a library. You don't just rush through a library or a museum. You take it slow, quiet. And makes me think of when I visited Venice as a young lad, and all I wanted to do was play my Game Boy. And I'm sitting in these beautiful churches, and we're walking, getting gelato and all that. I didn't care. And I feel so sad. But again, we just grow up. we become thoughtful, we appreciate different things, but as an adult now, I'm like, oh, I wish I just looked up and took it all in.
Oh. And I mean, and you're a photographer as well. So it seems like
Yeah.
part of your job is to take in the moment and to zoom in on those details and appreciate the beauty of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, Daniel Morris here brings up a good point. So, what is the main value of a reread?
Hmm.
I'd like you to start off.
Sure. Um, I think it just depends. I know sometimes I think the value of a reread is to bring back or evoke that same nostalgic excitement again. Like Thomas said, you can only read a book once, and I think that's so true. You can only experience something for the first time and feel the wow factor when something happens that you don't expect or fall in love with that character for the first time. But returning to an old familiar favorite can bring back certain feelings. I know I've been rereading some of my childhood favorites lately, and yeah, I'm noticing some things that maybe didn't age super well with some of those books, but there is I could still bring back what I appreciated the first time and maybe even see it in a new way. Maybe think about different characters than you once did and absorb the setting in a different way and see how things are set up to build to that exciting moment that you didn't know was going to be revealed the first time. So I think there could be many reasons to reread a
There's
book.
so many, um,
Mhm.
so many reasons to reread, and one of which I think, like you said, appreciation. I think when I'm reading a book for the first time, I'm in the feeling mode, and I'm feeling all these emotions because, again, I read to feel a lot of the time. I do
Yes.
read to get immersed and all that, but it all coincides. You're going through this for the first time, but the appreciation doesn't happen for me in the midst of actually reading it right away. It's when I put it down and think about it.
Mhm.
And when I'm not reading that book and it's sitting on my nightstand, I'm like, oh my gosh, wow. You're appreciating it because you're thinking about it. And then you pick it back up and then you're like, oh my gosh. Um, but then you finish that book. Years go by, and ever so often you're thinking about that book. And that's when you appreciate, I think. Um, that's when appreciation can happen, I feel like. I don't
I
know.
agree.
Back.
Yeah.
I mean, appreciation can happen in all phases and times, but when I think back on books like Wheel of Time or Name of the
Mhm.
Wind and stuff, you have those memories and you're appreciating it. And that's what memories are for. You appreciate life and what we experienced. Um, and then, you reread for picking up on little details that you didn't notice before. You pick up on foreshadowing and all sorts of stuff. And like you said, to capture that nostalgia.
Absolutely. I feel like there are some books where I've enjoyed them in the moment and then I put it down and I'm done. Like I've stopped reflecting on them. But my favorite books are the ones that I might feel very deeply in the moment that I'm reading the book. But then it just seems to deepen and deepen the more I think back on it or reflect on it or consider what the author was doing on the page. So I feel like, yeah, to me, those are my favorite type of reading experiences. Though I do think it's possible to just have like a fun popcorn read that you enjoy in the moment, and then you put it down, and you're like, okay, well, that was fine.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't tend to jump out at those books again to reread. Uh, I want those deep books that make me really feel, and
Mhm.
that's when I wanna dive in for those again, and maybe pick up those little details in between the sentences. And it's like, oh my
Mhm.
gosh,
Yeah.
I did not pick up on that. Right now, my wife and I are rewatching Breaking Bad,
Ooh,
and we
that
think that show and Better Call Saul are two of the greatest shows ever made. Some of the greatest writing. I don't know. Are you familiar?
I've watched Breaking Bad. I honestly haven't watched Better Call Saul, though
That's
I know my husband's a huge fan of that
yeah.
too. I need to check it out.
Um, we talk about rereading. You pick up on new details, and the wave of appreciation that I have for the writers and the creative artists behind that show, amazing. My wife and I are just like, wow. And then we appreciate Better Call Saul because it's a prequel in a way, and it builds upon what was laid before in Breaking Bad, and it's just masterclass of work. But anyways, that's
Oh, I wanted to add to that though.
yeah,
So it's been years since I saw Breaking Bad, but one of the things that I found so fascinating when I watched that series the first time is how and I would love your opinion about this, but it seemed to me that yes, the story got darker and darker as you go on in the
yeah.
seasons, but it seemed like it literally got darker. Like, it felt like the setting and the lighting got darker. I don't know if I just imagined that, but did you notice that by any chance?
I knew there were specific color schemes to certain themes, musical themes, and characters. This time around, I've been fixating on the colors of what people are wearing.
Mm,
I don't care about that. I don't care about that in the beginning. Like when I'm watching something or experiencing something for the first time, again, like I said, I'm immersed, I'm lost.
mhm.
I'm in the moment, you know.
Yes.
But then you rewatch it again and or re-experience it again and again, and you pick up on like new details. So when it comes to colors, I'm look at the outfits. But anyways,
Mhm. Yeah. I was just curious about that. Yeah, I know I was talking back and forth with you on Instagram about how I just recently rewatched The Godfather because it's been
yes.
several years since I had seen it the first time.
Oh,
Godfather 1 and 2, and it blew my mind because I was rewatching The Godfather Part 1 with my husband, and we had to go back to the beginning after the first 30 minutes because well, it's a long story. We had to pause and then come back a few weeks later and then rewatch the beginning, and he said, "I didn't realize I had to pay so much attention to who each character is." And I thought I got it. I was like, "Oh, I don't think it's that hard." And then I rewatched the first 30 minutes, and I couldn't believe how many little tiny details that I had never noticed before that just popped out. Like, it was such a fascinating rewatch experience for me,
yeah,
that
yeah,
particular movie.
it's something else. It felt
Mhm.
very documentary, like you're in it. The whole 30 minutes, you're in this wedding and you feel like you're there. You're just observing this wedding actually happening. Like this wedding took place in real life.
Totally.
And you're watching these people celebrate their cultures and this love coming together and all these people. And then this dark room and this man. And you are not told who this man is. You are shown through how people talk about him and everyone else around him in this moment. And I'm just like, that's it's missing
Wow.
in so many films now.
That's brilliant. I love the way you analyze that, like the juxtaposition of the dark room and the light wedding. Everyone, if you haven't watched The Godfather, please watch it. It's so
It's
brilliant.
actually, in my opinion, I think it's a perfect holiday film. I know it's
Oh,
kind of
yeah,
crazy, but there is Christmas shopping in there.
that's right.
So maybe watch it during Christmas time.
Good idea, good idea. Uh,
This was a I'm sorry guys, I'm missing the chat a lot. Let's try to go through real quick.
sure.
I just turned 18 and feel like thoughtful and intentional is something I'm really working towards. I really like your guys' mindset with reading and living in general. Yeah. Thanks, Evan. It's awesome that you're approaching that. Um again, just being thoughtful not only in reading but just in life and appreciating the little things has been just life-changing for me. Uh okay, talking about it. It's a long book, but I haven't read it yet.
It is
Uh,
long.
when I'm constantly picking up books, I tend to read pretty fast, but if I take a break, I definitely feel like I slow down a bit. That's good.
Interesting. Yeah, yeah.
That said, I've stopped caring about how fast or slow I read as long as exactly. Uh,
100%.
ex-
Yes.
This isn't about, hey, how dare you read fast, or hey, how dare you read slow. It's we have our own pace, and our own perspectives on how we read.
Exactly, exactly. Um, yeah, I completely agree with that. That is actually why I created the Why Read discussion series, which Thomas was a guest on, was
Yeah.
because I realized, okay, I'm never going to be one of these channels that has a million books read per month or whatever. But then it got me to think, okay, but why do I read? That's the most important thing. And that's the most important question for me. And that's the bridge to connecting with other people who also love to read, regardless of reading speeds or whatever, is that we
Yep.
all love story. And so why do we love it? And are we really, what are we taking in? Because we can all connect in that way.
Reading slowly feels like I like consuming and more like conversing. Some books deserve to be heard, not rushed past. Absolutely.
Yes.
That's how I feel about Robin Hobb. The way she
Yes.
writes, she doesn't write, um, the way it's paced. It's not like I guess a Sanderson book is the only example I can bring up right now. It's not that, action packed cinematic pacing. It's very just like, hey, this is the world, this is the character. Let's sit in the shoes. And the way she writes, I think, encourages the reader to slow down and
I
read.
agree.
And
Yeah, she's so gifted at building internal conflict with the character. So even if nothing is overtly happening out in the world, like nothing's overtly happening in the page as far as action is concerned, she does have action. But even if nothing is quote unquote going on in terms of that, you still feel the emotional stakes of what the character is enduring, the conflicts they're enduring. Um, and she's so good at writing that.
yeah,
Another thing I wanted to ask you about
yeah,
too is about, because I know you love slower paced books, books that are not necessarily as heavily reliant on action and the world falling apart maybe, but more just the, not that you are against that, but it seems like you are more deeply into the character's internal journey. Do you find that the writing style makes a difference for that? Because I personally think Robin Hobb is gifted at her prose. Like, her writing just flows so beautifully. She writes in such an evocative way and in such a visual way. And I know a lot of it's been a long time since I've read Name of the Wind, but I know Rothfuss is often applauded for his writing style. So do you find, because I think, I don't know, my theory is that slower paced books, they um they benefit from beautiful prose or from beautiful writing.
again, I haven't read too much,
Ah, yeah,
but
just curious.
I can totally see where you're coming from. I think you might be onto something. Um, I think I don't know. I can tell through Rothfuss's writing and Hobbes' writing that they're so intentional with the word choice. They're not just trying to get to the next paragraph or to the next scene. Um, Again, I'm not a writer though, so it's just I don't know how to start writing, how that process works, but everyone has their own style. And Hobb and Rothfuss and I'd say Robert McCammon, Boy's Life,
Mhm. Oh, yeah, yeah. Mhm.
just the way they evoke that feeling and emotion with their words, with just specific words and how they tie those words together, it just like, whoa. I'm sitting reading a chapter with my wife this morning at the coffee shop, and I'm just like tearing up. And it's like, I shouldn't be crying at this, but I am because of the word choice.
Exactly.
Um, Although I think McCammon and his writing, for some reason, I'm reading it faster, at least the attitude of it. But maybe it's also Hobb with how the character is not going through a whole lot consistently. So maybe I shouldn't be rushing through it as well. I mean, Fitz is just kind of hanging out, doing this, doing that. So I'm just kind of gonna read a chapter here, read a chapter there. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I was just curious about that. I think McCammon is an extremely talented writer from what I read in Boy's Life. I read that a couple of summers ago. Let's see.
Midnight.
What is he
My
saying? I love
He's the
when
best.
paragraph. And reading is leading to a huge moment. Sometimes I'll reread the buildup. Yeah, just before I get to the good part to savor it. Love moments like that. That's beautifully said. Love that.
So I just skipped over a ton. I'm really sorry, y'all. But we're just gonna try to keep up with
You have 10,000
everyone.
subscribers to keep up with now.
It's a blessing, honestly. I'm so
Congratulations. Yeah.
thankful. I don't deserve it. I literally I don't. I just put a video. I put myself in front of a camera and I talk, and all these people decided to join me. Like that's I don't deserve that, and I'm very thankful for
Aw.
the following and to have conversations with you and Midnight and David and uh, Mike's book reviews. It's just amazing. So
I think that people resonate with the fact that you come on camera and you talk about your experience with reading and you just open the conversation to others. I think that that really speaks to a lot of people right now. And the fact that you are kind of that exactly what you love in reading is kind of what you are on camera in the sense that you do invite a more like a more chill, relaxed, centered expression in your videos. You have
appreciate
the
that.
lovely lighting and, yeah, the
Well, you do
coffee,
too. I mean,
nice
and I'm
ambiance to
drinking
your
coffee
video.
out of a can. That's not really vibing or calm. um, I'm gonna catch up with everyone down here. Oh my gosh. Oh, Maxwell. Oh, I love this guy. Totally deserve it. I can't put into words how your calm demeanor has really helped me. Sometimes I need to slow down. Oh my gosh. Thanks,
Yay.
dude.
That's nice. That's
Um,
beautifully said.
I just bought Name of the Wind for $1.50 at the thrift store. Oh my god.
That's a good steal.
Amazing. That's a
Nice.
nice deal. It's actually $7 on Amazon right now. Quite surprising. So I was thinking about buying another copy just to maybe gift it around. Um, Fast-paced books work great like black and white storyboards. Slow-paced allows for each frame.
Ah, interesting way to put it.
I love Toby. Toby's you're awesome.
Intelligent thought. Yeah.
Um,
Great insight.
I agree. Prose definitely affects how one reads. I feel like Sanderson's direct prose does opposite. I couldn't imagine reading Stormlight or Mistborn slowly. Yeah, and that's fine. And that's Stephen King books. I just eat it up because
Mm,
it's so accessible and it's so clever and it's just like it's a page turner.
yeah.
Whereas there's some books that like a chapter will end and I'm like, okay, I think I'll go to sleep with the character because the character just went to sleep. I don't need to wake up yet. So I'll put the book down
Yeah.
for a day. Think about it.
What
Whereas
is your what is
Sanderson,
your yeah,
huh?
what is your favorite King book right now?
Oh my gosh.
I know you've been reading a lot of King. I'd be curious.
I have no idea. I think Misery right now, but the more I think about it, I really enjoyed Pet Cemetery.
Oh, that's my favorite. Well, that's one of my favorites. I
And that's
love
a
Pet
book
Sematary.
that I read in the heat of it. And it's like, yeah, it's a good book. But the more I think about it,
It's a
I'm like,
brilliant book.
ooh,
Yeah.
I like it even more. Um, Carrie was fun. That was amazing because that's his very first book.
Mm.
What about you?
My top 3 favorite King books right now are Pet Sematary. I thought it was absolutely brilliant. The
Mhm.
way he explores grief. I mean, you go through, like, all the stages of grief in that book, and there's, like, this supernatural
Yeah,
horror twist. He's so good at that. He's so good at exploring, like, the human horrors of a real life situation and then twisting it with supernatural features. Like, he's so brilliant at that. So for me, it would be Pet Cemetery, 11/22/63, which is a totally different type of King book. It's time travel, it's historical fiction, time travel, but I adored that book. It was actually the 2nd King book I read, and I loved it. So 11/22/63, second
yeah.
choice, and then Wizard and Glass, which is book 4 in the Dark Tower series. I loved that book. I think you would love it when you get to it, whenever you get to the Dark Tower.
Yeah, I'm not diving into series just yet,
I
but
understand that. but I imagine it's in your future someday. I
And the
imagine
fact
as a
that I
King fan,
love
it's in your future.
King's style, I could probably rip through that in a year.
Yeah,
I'm really excited about that one.
yeah.
Um, this is definitely something I've thought of right here, but it's also you got to think about that other person. Like, are they actually just a crazy fast reader, or do you know if they skim read? You know,
That's
and
there's a difference there. There's a difference there. Yes.
people who don't want to slow down and appreciate, or actually not read the words, and they just want to get to the end. And that's that's their choice.
Right.
Um, I'm not gonna fight them. I'm not gonna be like, "Hey, how dare you?" That's just what they wanna do. Whereas some people who are just crazy fast
People
readers.
are. Yeah.
And the thing is I only have a couple examples of this. My friend Trevor, who I love and adore, and he's a mentor of mine in the film industry, writing and all that, and my sister, both crazy fast readers. And I try to talk to them about books they've read, and they're like, "I couldn't tell you anything. I can't remember," because they're on to the next one. Um, but they just read so much in a year that when you have you and I and many others who deliberately read slow and who are thoughtful, and not to say that the crazy fast readers aren't thoughtful, but it's I think there is a greater opportunity to retain what you read when you slow down, when you put it down, when you metabolize it. Boom, you know. Name of the Wind again, Last Unicorn,
Mm.
Wheel of Time, like all these series that I've read. Yeah, I've read a lot now in the past 5 years, but I'm able to look back on many moments throughout those books and really just look back on how I felt reading that book.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I would say there's definitely a big difference between somebody who's skimming or using speed reading techniques versus people who are just naturally fast readers. And I have found some research that said that, like people who take classes, for example, to read as fast as possible, that they are able to glimpse, the major beats of the story. But when they test them on comprehension and retention, they usually score a little bit lower then but again, that's so different that's different than people who just naturally read fast. I naturally read slowly. I've tried
Yeah,
to increase my reading speed my whole life. I've failed miserably, but I'm at a point now where I don't think it's as much of a weakness as I once thought it was. And so, and I've seen yeah, I think that there has been and not only that, because I've decided to embrace it a little bit more. I've decided to lean into like really reflecting on what I read. I keep a reading journal. I like to do discussions here on
love that.
YouTube. And it makes me love what I'm reading more if I get to think about it. I love thinking
You're
about what I read. I don't know,
you're
or
preaching to the
just
choir here.
feeling it. Yeah.
Amen. That leaning into it rather than fighting it, you're just going to struggle, and you're going to take that enjoyment out and that love out. Um, and again, I just think it's, the taste that I've developed, the palate that I've developed, and that approach, of slow and thoughtful reading that I'm just like, I'm okay with. And it's just branched out into so many other aspects of my life. I would much rather, have a day with my friend and eat breakfast, drink coffee, and play magic cards for 7 hours quietly.
Mm.
Maybe not blasting music all the time and constantly talking. We're just hanging out, which we did, thankfully, last Sunday. It was great. And I'd rather much watch a show that is slower. It's a slow burn and a slow development. Because also, then things I feel are earned when a story is progressing slowly. Characters are, developing naturally. And when I notice that in the writing, I tend to want to, I guess, mimic that in my approach to reading. Um, it all coincides for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. I think the one drawback for me is that Well, I don't know if this is a drawback, but it sounds like you and I are like align a lot on this because I feel as a result of being a slower reader, I am much, much more selective about the books I read, especially if it's a longer book. Like I have to make sure that this is not that I'm not just reading it because of it's a popular big book, but rather because there's something about it that I think would speak to me personally as a reader. So I feel like the stakes are almost higher for me because if I read a book like It, for example, I mean, I have read It, and it took me over a month to read that book. Whereas it takes some of my faster reading friends, it takes them maybe 5 days. For me, it takes me a lot longer. So
Yeah.
it's a longer investment of time. So in some ways, I feel like the stakes are a little higher. I guess that's one drawback I could say about slow reading, but
I
yeah.
also tend to read, I'll get to this Evans question here. Oh, and this is a good one right here. That's the thing about difficult books. They force you to slow down,
Mhm.
especially if it's a new writing style. Um,
Oh, yeah.
but I like say it. I'm waiting for August to fall next year, not this year, because I have books that I want to read, and I don't want to just rush through that in a week. I want to pace it throughout that season, throughout that changing of summer to fall
Yeah,
and into spooky season. I want to enjoy that book throughout that whole like 3 month span. Um, and it allows me to, I guess, it just adds to the experience of reading for me when I read alongside the seasons.
for sure. That's cool. I've tried to get more into seasonal reading, but yeah, it's kinda new to me, but it's a beautiful idea.
Yep.
I've been pleasantly surprised by it, thought it would be all horror, but King's characters and slow life moments make the book a whole other world. Yeah, one of the themes that spoke to me about the most in it that's not horror related. There is a lot of horror in it, but the theme that spoke to me the most is the way he explores the meaning of friendship among
Mm.
these kids. I loved the way that these kids understood the depth and meaning of friendship. He doesn't underestimate children and their ability to grasp how important that is. So, yeah, I think that was, for me, what stood out when it comes to that part.
And it's so relatable because I read The Body and it's 180 pages long and just as impactful,
Mm,
of a, if a, like a 90 or 900 page book, Um, yeah, that feeling of friendship and childhood, but then growing up and what am I going to do as an adult? It's amazing what he can do. Um, would you say that Name of the Wind is different enough from Wheel of Time that it would be a good break from Wheel of Time at some point? In my opinion, I'd say push Name of the Wind off as much as possible because it will ruin every other book. It ruined Harry Potter for me. It ruined reading for a good year. Um, because the moment I finished the first two books in that series, Name of the Wind, I just nothing could compare. Nothing could match that level of writing. Thankfully, I've gotten out of that shell and I've explored many writing styles. And I click the reset button when I open up another book.
good.
Okay,
Yes.
new writer. And then when those words, you know, reach out and grab me, and in the first 5 pages, I'm like, okay, I'm in.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that would be my advice. Unfortunately, I think slow versus fast reading stigma comes down to conversation. It's hard to separate skim readers to simply fast readers without sitting down and talking about their books. Yep.
Yeah. I think that's the most important point anyway is that you connected with the book, regardless of your reading speed and that we could have a conversation. And I have like I feel like and you have too, right? Thomas, like we've both been able to talk with friends here on the platform who have maybe a faster reading speed than we do, but we're able to have an in-depth conversation about it and really deeply connect about that book. And that's the most important thing, right?
Yeah, it is. It is. And that's also what is the conversation around the book makes for that book to be a little more, it sticks with you even more.
Yeah.
I've been reading Ship of Magic too long, but the book is very good.
So good. I love that book. Yeah, it's interesting because I know you were talking about Robin Hobb, and For me, I've had a very different experience with Robin Hobb's books, specifically with Live Ship so far, because with Ship of Magic, I had a slightly different experience. I could not put the book down. For some reason, I was like, I just need to pick this up. I need to be with these characters all the time. And so I got through the book a bit faster than I normally would a book that size, but it was mostly because I was just addicted to each storyline and just wanting to know what was going to happen to these characters that grew so invested in. Whereas I'm reading Mad Ship right now, I'm almost finished and I'm enjoying it. I think I enjoyed Ship of Magic maybe a little more, but we'll find out. It's still I'm not finished with it yet. But I am finding that I can put the book down for longer periods of time. I don't know. It's not quite the same experience for me. It's like what you were saying, Thomas, about your experience with Robin Hobb. Like you can enjoy it, but then put it down and that's fine. It's not a worse reading experience, but it's just different.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know when I'm going to pick up book 2 of the Farseer trilogy.
Mm.
It's not calling to me yet. So, when I'm feeling up for it, I'll be ready.
I love that you're so true to that. You're so true to, like, if it's calling to me, it has to call to me.
I have to feel it. I want to be able to, like, okay, this is it. Like, very much like video games. Like this video game, I'm also very slow and thoughtful with my video games. And I also
Mm,
choose those kind of video games, narratively heavy video games to savor.
mm.
Um, quick tangent, but it still coincides with slow and thoughtful uh, enjoyment. You play video games, right? I think so.
Occasionally, yes.
Okay.
I play I play video games with my husband now and then. We just started Zelda Echoes of I can't remember.
Echoes
Somebody
of
will know in the
Wisdom or
comment
something
section.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, there's a game called Red Dead Redemption, came out in 2010. I played that over the weekend. It's a quick video game. From what I remembered, I thought it was a master class. I'm like a 15-year-old kid, however old I am, and I'm just like, it was okay. As an adult, I'm playing through it, and I'm like, eh. But Red Dead Redemption 2 takes on a much more mature and slower pace and approach to that story. And it's an 80-hour video game or something.
Hmm.
And that's something I want to re-experience again and seek out. So you think about slow pace. That's an experience I want to experience. And we talk about rereading books, replaying a video game. Is it as good as it used to be when I was a kid? Um, so that's just something I'm thinking about and wanted to share.
Yeah, and you were saying I think your wife was into Baldur's Gate.
Yep.
Is that right? Baldur's
Yep.
Gate 3?
We ripped through that, and she wants to play it again and again and again. She loves it.
And
She loves games with choices.
that's cool. My husband loves that game. He's far more into video games than I am, but he loves those kinds of long story epic video games
Yeah.
too.
Hobb is an author whose work is wonderful if you read it slower because there's so much to take in and experience. Absolutely.
Mm, there's so much to her writing. I love
Play
it.
way back in the day.
Mm.
Oh, people are giving me advice here about Royal Assassin. That's the second one, right?
Yes, that's the second one. What are they saying?
Is a necessary life experience, but absolutely don't rush it. The time will come. Ah, thank you. Royal Assassin is the one. Man, when you do get the mood for it, I'm sure you will enjoy it. My favorite book of all
Yes.
time, potentially. Whoa.
Yeah,
Life Ship
it's
has my
really
favorite
good. It's
characters from
really good.
all of fiction. Probably not one that people would immediately assume after book 1.
I'm curious now, which character? I'm so curious.
Yeah, I don't know anything.
There's so many
Thanks
good
for hanging
ones.
out, Evan. Live Ship was a slow one for me as well.
Yeah, it's taking me a long time. Oh, Kenneth. Yeah, Ken is a cool character.
Definitely a slow reader, but I found that using a pointer helps me focus better.
Oh, good.
Though when the prose is beautiful, like Tolkien's Lord of the
Uh,
Rings, I intentionally read without a pointer to digest it. Interesting.
Yes.
I do remember in grade school doing the ruler trick or the paper trick, and then just one sentence at a time, and then you kind of boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
Also,
It's
when you're learning to read, I think it's a good technique because it helps you focus on the words that are right there
mhm.
because you need to sound out the words.
Right. Right.
Ziny, I have read Narrow Road Between Desires.
Oh, what is that?
It was a little novella that Rothfuss wrote,
Oh.
focusing on one of the side characters. It
Ah,
was beautiful.
yes.
I loved
Yeah.
it. Again, it's not for everyone.
Mm.
It's about nothing, but it's everything.
Yeah. I have only read the Name of the Wind and The Wise Man's Fear, but I've never read that novella for some reason.
Have you read the Slow Regard of Silent Things?
I haven't, no.
Oh my god,
Yeah. Is it
read
really
it.
good? I know, I'm, like, such a poor King
It's
Killers fan now.
probably it might be my favorite Rothfuss book. We'll see. I don't know. It's so good.
Wow, that
It's just
good?
it's just I need more of that from him.
Hmm, yeah. Okay, maybe I'll go back to it.
Is there a difference between audio and physical reading for you in your speed? There's more time to reflect physically while listening. You have to pause the audio. You're less likely to do that. For me, I don't do audio because I want that physical feeling of the book in my hands and I want to follow along with those words. And I feel like there is that retention that I get better with physical reading. What about you?
Yeah, I do listen to audiobooks on occasion. Sometimes I go through long audiobook listening slumps though. This summer I've really struggled getting into audiobooks personally, and it really depends on the book. And most of the time, if I'm just listening to audio and not immersion reading, like listening and looking at the same time, I I can't really go that fast, but it depends on the book. Like if it's nonfiction, I can sometimes go a little bit faster. If it's yeah, but I'm not usually a 2 times speed or 3 times speed person.
I don't know
If I
how
listen
anyone
to
would
an
do it.
audiobook, it's usually, like, between 1 and 1.5, I would say on average. Even if I'm immersion reading, I usually read at, like, 1.5, I would say, depending on the book and depending on the style. But, uh but the one thing I don't understand, like, okay, this is, like, a genuine question I have,
Yeah.
and this is something I've talked about with David, our friend David from Four Corners of the Page. One thing I genuinely don't I have a genuine question. I promise I'm not trying to be critical here, but for people who listen really, really fast, like at 3 times speed, or who read that fast maybe, how do you feel the emotion of the story? Like, especially if it's a sad moment, like, I can't imagine listening to something emotional at 3 times speed and, like, taking in the depth of that emotion. You know what I
I
mean?
would even say at normal speed because the author or the narrator is just going to keep reading.
Good point.
They're not going to pause for you. And I love to pause and
Yes,
just
me
kind of look
too.
up and be like, wow, and soak it in. Uh, I like to just sit. That is a very good question.
Yeah.
Um, wow, that's going to keep me up at night.
I love that too, though. Like, there's a book I read last year. Actually, there are 2 books, but, one book made me cry this year, but it was towards the end that it made me cry. But a book I read last year, I had to put the book down because I started crying and, like, my eyes got so actually, I literally couldn't read because my eyes got so blurry with tears. But I did. But regardless of that, I had to put the book down, and I just had to sit with my emotions for a while.
Oh my
So,
goodness.
yeah, it's my one question is, like, if you're super, super fast, like, how do you
Yeah.
feel those things? Like, I
Yeah.
guess it's a genuine question I have. If people are able to do
And
it,
but some people don't read to feel. They read to just
um,
experience the story and move on. I don't know, but
yeah,
I don't like to assume anything on anyone because everyone has their own approach to anything,
yeah,
and they have their likes and dislikes and reasons behind it. So, I'm just not an audiobook guy.
yeah.
Um, Earlier on, I might have been a little more, like, asking questions on that end, like, why not just read the physical book, or why this, why that? But again, everyone takes in a story differently. And for me, I lean more toward physical reading. If I'm on a road trip with my wife, maybe, maybe an audiobook, but it all depends. Twice born by grace. My goodness, I'm so sorry. That might have spooked you.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I completely thank you for asking this again. I saw your question. I was going to get to it, and then I got distracted. This is a good question. Do you think authors owe their readers clarity, or is ambiguity a gift?
This is an excellent question. I personally love a little bit of ambiguity in my stories, like a little bit of like I love, oh, for example, endings that are left just a little bit open. I think you can go too far with the ambiguity. I do think that can go a little too far, but when you say authors owe their readers, I guess my follow-up question to that is, do you mean that authors need to, like, write an afterword and explain what it is? Because I don't think they should ever have to do that. In fact, I was actually reading a book earlier this year. My friend Matt Kian, who's in the comment in the chat here, he read it with me. It's called Name of the Rose, and at the end, the author Umberto Eco had this fantastic afterword where he explained a lot of the inspiration for the book. But he also said in that afterword, he said, "An author never owes their readers the interpretation of their book. They
Mhm.
do not owe that to their reader." And
And
I
that's the same
love
with
that.
anything, with
Yeah.
any film.
Or music,
One of my
lyrics.
favorite films, or filmmakers, is Denis Villeneuve. Um, he is the king of ambiguity, and that's the point of his work. It makes you think, it makes you feel, it makes you ask questions. And that's the whole reason he is doing what he does with the platform he has. And it's a gift, a true gift, because there's so many films, so many books and stories that are just told. And that's okay. But I like to think and feel. And when something is open ended, or like, what does this mean? That grants us the opportunity for this conversation. And
100%.
that's a gift.
Yes, yes, yes. I resonate so much with this. And thank you, Shadia, for answering that. I really do. I genuinely was curious. And that makes a lot of sense to me.
I do believe where there are bad writers, you can be a bad reader. I've certainly put a book down before because I was being a bad reader. Not exactly. Great. Gosh, Toby, you're on it. Absolutely. There are, I mean, there's some great books out there. There's some great games and movies. Sometimes I'm not in the headspace to appreciate it. I clearly wasn't in the headspace when I was in, fourth or fifth grade playing my Game Boy in Venice uh, to appreciate that lovely city. Good morning, Kale. How you doing?
Hey, Kale.
1.25 is normal to me because audiobook narrators read very slow, except the narrator of R.F. Kuang.
Oh, that's funny. R.F. Kwong books. Yeah.
What are your thoughts on open endings with books? Love it.
Yep, I just answered that. I love open endings with books. Sometimes I read a book earlier this year that I loved called I Who Have Never Known Men. It's a post-apocalyptic book. And the one drawback I would say for people picking it up is it might be too open an ending for some readers, but I adored it. I love those kind of endings.
Yeah, I think I've heard this before. That he made the whole second book for the sake of like, hey, people didn't understand it. Any work on Dune is brilliant, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, oh, you mentioned something just about sometimes you can go too far with ambiguity.
Mhm.
And sometimes I feel like with the writing styles, it's like maybe an author will go a little too far with flowery and poetic,
Right.
and it's like, okay, you're being this is a little too much. I don't think it serves the story. I don't think I think you're just trying to show off for the sake of it. Um,
Yes.
And same thing with films. There are films out there that are like artsy for the sake of being artsy. It's like,
Yeah.
all right, calm down. Like, I don't,
I totally agree with this. Yeah.
there's a balance. And I think some of those writers out there that we've mentioned have mastered the balance
Yes.
and have chosen words to place in sentences and to connect sentences, to connect thoughts and feelings. It's just, it's amazing to tell a story, but also to make you feel. That right there is the level that I'm just like, how do you do that? How do
Yes.
you look at a blank computer or a blank typewriter and you're just like, okay, I'm going to write this story? Cool, that's one thing, but to weave words together to allow you to feel something when you read it, because I'm not in your shoes when I'm reading, when let's say I write a book and I don't know what you're going to feel. It's amazing.
Yeah. No, I totally agree with this. I feel like I've been a little bit of a broken record saying this lately, but the one thing that I've been connecting so much to when it comes to Hobbs writing is I feel like she's so good at showing you the world through a character's perspective, but she not only shows it to you, but she also makes you feel it through their perspective. She actually gives you their emotional landscape in relation to what they're seeing and experiencing.
Yes.
So it's like she's doing a lot of heavy lifting with everything she's writing. It's so she doesn't have to stop and overly explain things to you. She never really does that. Like
No.
rarely does that. She does it a little bit, but not too much. It's more like she's describing the Six Duchies or she's describing Bingtown in Live Ship Traders, and you're getting it through the character's perspective of like their emotional experience of that place and their feeling right now and their anxiety and then their hopes and then their excitement and then their fears. And she does this really good subtle play and shift in tone and emotion as she's presenting different images and different aspects of the world to the reader. And she does it like she's so clever at how she does it because you're like
Yeah.
just strung along, like give me more, take me on this like subtle up and down journey. And then these heavy emotional moments, they mean all the more because you've been with these characters on their little feelings, their like smaller anxieties and smaller fears. It's just brilliant the way she does that.
It really is. I don't know how to explain it.
I don't either.
And
I
then I'm
just tried,
like,
but I
okay.
don't know if I did. Yeah.
As an artist, I feel a similar way. I like to draw something, but in lighting that anyone can look at and take something personal away from it. That makes sense.
Oh, I love that.
If a book
Art
can mix
analogy.
good plot, emotion, and just a little philosophy, is my perfect book. Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, let's ask that for the chat. What is your perfect book? Mine is anything that makes me feel. But Sanderson is less subtle than a brick, and it's very intentional, and it makes his books very easy to read. Love all this Hob love. Yeah. Thanks to you and David. You guys pushed me to
Yay.
nudged me to read Hob because she's been sitting on my shelf for a long time.
Oh.
And I'm excited, but I'm thankful that I think this year I'm taking a break from fantasy for the rest.
You are? What?
For the rest of the year. Like,
oh wow!
this
What?
year's
I didn't
almost
know
done,
that.
and I'm thinking I might be just reading a book a month at this point, and I'm probably going to start Lonesome Dove in December.
Yes. Oh, I love Lonesome Dove.
So I'm ready for it.
Oh, it's so good.
I'm ready
It is
for it.
so good.
Yeah.
It's like it's truly. The word that always comes up for me with Lonesome Dove it's memorable. You will never forget those characters.
I can't wait.
You'll never forget Gus. When you read Gus, you will never forget him.
Well, I don't forget Barrack in Farseer.
Yeah.
That man's amazing.
Yeah.
Hob deserves all the praise she's getting here and then some. I agree.
Yay. Hooray for Hob.
Agree. I can read for an hour and it feels like 20 minutes. Oh, sorry, I didn't click on it. If I can read for an hour and it feels like 20 minutes, I have to physically zone back into the real world. It's a good book. Ooh,
For sure.
that's
Yes.
been Boy's Life for me.
That's the best feeling in the world. I love to forget I exist when I
Yep.
read. For me, if I
With
forget
Boy's
I
Life,
exist, it's a good
it's
book.
I've also forgotten that everyone around me
Yeah.
exists. I'm
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I'm in it.
Yeah, that's it.
Have you
That's
read Boy's
great.
Life?
I have, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. A couple of years ago. I honestly listened to the audiobook for that, and it was very good. I did take a long time to get through that too. And it certainly has some very emotional moments.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think McCammon is an excellent writer.
Never
Excellent
heard of
writer.
him until Mike's book reviews.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, this is my summer read. I'm like, okay.
It truly is like
First two
summertime on your
pages.
bikes as kids, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, I was in love with it. Robin Hobb's characters, hard. Oh, okay. So that would be your perfect book.
Okay, cool.
One that has great life lesson. So pretty much every book, laugh out loud. Um, perfect book definitely comes down to feeling and prose for me. I'm a prose snob, sue me. I'm getting there, but not really. I like the way the words weave color and taste. Great writing can feel like a spring.
Oh, I'm totally a pro snob. I didn't used to be, but I think that's changed over the last several years.
I
Yeah.
was saying what makes it perfect to me. Suppose that I like books which explore really neat ideas,
Mm.
but it can slip away from being perfect if there's something small that I dislike. Like,
Hmm.
oh, End of Eternity description was pretty bad for a certain character, and that stuck with me until the end, making it a 4 out of 5. Okay.
Hmm.
Lonesome Dove, I stopped partway through. Plan to return. Okay.
Hope you like it, Kale.
Started Boy's Life last night.
Very good. Yeah.
Easy breezy. I think I might read 100 pages tonight. Too much of a mood reader to have a favorite perfect book. Yeah.
Hmm.
That's very true for me. The more I
Yeah.
read, and as time goes on, I'm just like, I gotta be in the mood for this, and my mood will influence how much I'm loving that book. Perfect book for me is Spear Cuts Through Water. Okay, never heard of it.
I have it on my shelf. I read it last year.
So
Yeah.
I just landed what Boy's Life is about. Also, okay, anyone who's read Boy's Life, do not tell me anything. I don't even know where I'm at in the book. I don't know what it's about. Um, right now, I will just say it's about a boy's life in the 1960s, and the words capture so much of what it's like to be a boy during summer and throughout the seasons, and how you see life through his eyes. And I think it is the most relatable book for me, um, because of how much imagination I have. Um, and I think there's a murder mystery involved,
Mhm.
and that's all I know. And that's all I'll say.
That's well said. It's very slice of life, but there is a murder mystery.
Yes. And I love that the slice of life is like, it doesn't take away, like the book continues to move on. I feel like, from what I remember, like certain books, like Robin Hobb, the pacing is good, but it is deliberately slow. Whereas Boy's Life is it always feels like it's always moving.
Mhm.
I'm always moving along. But there are moments of slice of life, and it slows down when it needs to, but it is consistently moving to something. And I think that's what allows me to keep reading. And what I'm reading is so interesting. Um,
I agree. Yeah.
Boy's Life is my perfect book. Enough said. Yep, it might be my favorite book of all time. We'll see. It might just tie Name of the Wind, and they'll just be at the number one spot forever.
How far along are you in that?
Oh gosh. I I think I'm just about halfway because I slowed down. Work got in the way. Um, this week, I've just been editing. I haven't posted anything, so I'll be filming a video tomorrow, posting on Friday. So yeah, reading has been slow.
Oh, that's okay though. Yeah,
Exactly. Talk about
that's what
slow
we're
and
here to
thoughtful
talk
reading.
about. Yeah.
Yeah. We are going to be slowing down or ending this stream here in a few minutes. Um,
I want to
just
say though,
because,
I really
yeah.
loved your video about Boy's Life because
Oh,
you did
thank
an
you.
initial
Yeah.
reaction video and it was
Yeah. I like
beautiful
to
with the
do
whole
initial
cameo.
reaction videos. I think that needs to be done because what I like to do is just talk about how I feel and maybe share why I feel the way I feel and like bring relatable life experiences. Maybe
Yeah.
not relatable, but share life experiences
Yeah. I love
alongside
that
what I'm
one. I
reading.
loved how personal you made it because you had a whole entire section where you did this
Yeah.
cutaway montage of your childhood, which is lovely.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a boy. Boy's life.
You're a
How I'm
boy,
doing.
so yeah.
Here's a question I've been wondering: do you think Boy's Life is a good nostalgic read for all audiences, or is it distinctly American with its nostalgia?
That's a
Oh,
good
interesting.
question. That's a good question. I always wonder about this type of question when it comes to books like 11/22/63, which I think it really helps if you have some knowledge of the JFK assassination, if you feel a connection to that, which I did before I read the book. And then the same thing with Kindred by Octavia Butler, which has to do with racism in America. It's like those kind of books I'm always like, is that going to appeal to an international reader? But I think the writing is excellent and I would say it's worthwhile to give it a shot. Um, yeah, I think it's worthwhile. What do you think?
There are plenty of universal, relatable things in there. I feel like because we're all human, and I think it
Yeah.
captures human emotion, and it captures that innocence of a child, and what they see and how they experience life. Um, a perfect book for me is a good second book. Oh, okay.
Yes. That can yeah, especially because in book 1, sometimes we're just getting into the world and we're introducing things and maybe setting things up a little bit, but sometimes it's in the
Yeah.
book 2s where you get
Yeah.
to the meat of the story.
Um, I think a perfect book is one that stands on its own, one that you can just read. Uh, uh, I think fantasy is such a popular genre that, and within fantasy, it's all series. So they lack a lot of the standalone books. But I think in any genre, I think a great book is a good standalone, especially for recommending books to others. So it's like, hey, this is all you need. Or hey, this is a movie. You watch it from beginning to end. That's it. You don't need 5, 6 seasons to tell the story. I'm a Brit. Ooh, I'm a Brit and loved Boy's Life.
There you go. Yeah.
I can't find a new copy of Boy's Life in UK. Not sure why.
Oh,
Nice.
interesting.
Probably because it's is it because it's sold out everywhere? I don't know. That video was incredible, and the reason I picked up Boy's Life last night. So thank you for that. Oh wow. Well, and you read it all in pretty much read the whole book almost. Kidding.
That's
Um,
fantastic. Wow. You inspired people to pick it up and you hadn't even finished it yet.
okay, that's one thing that amazes me about BookTube and now having 10K subscribers, how much influence you can have in encouraging others to pick up a book. Like,
Mhm.
I talk about a lot of the books that I love, um, and I give my honest thoughts and genuine reactions, but I don't expect anyone to pick it up and even love it as much as I did. So it amazes me, blows my mind hearing comments like that. Like, hey, I picked up Name of the Wind because of you. Hey, picked up Wheel of Time, The Last Unicorn.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
amazing.
Well, you were just saying earlier about how you pick up books to feel, and I think that that's the main reason people tune into booktube, most booktube video channels, especially yours, is they want to get the sense of emotion that that book is gonna evoke, and that's gonna be what inspires you to pick up a book. I think that's a big thing. That's a big thing for a lot of us, is we see somebody and they emotionally connect or react to a certain book, and it's like, "Oh, I want that feeling. I wanna experience that. Oh, that has this" especially the nostalgic part that you were talking about with Boy's Life,
Yeah.
which I agree. It is a universal feeling, even if he is capturing it in a very specific time period in the US, in a specific era. I think that that feeling of nostalgia, of being a playful kid, the magic of that experience, whether imagined or real, is something that almost anybody can relate to.
And it's a
So
character. Like you think of the Wild West, Lonesome Dove.
mm,
Apparently, it's a master class of a book. I don't know. I haven't read it,
so
but
good. Yeah.
I think regardless of where you come from in the world, if it's a good book, you read it. You give it a shot. Whether you relate to it or not, I think it's more about how the characters are and not where they're from, but how they're written. And because we're all human, like I've said,
Mhm.
there's that human element that we're able to relate to. And yeah.
Yeah. That's really clever, by the way. I'm really excited for more of your initial reaction videos if you start making that a
Yeah.
trend on your channel. I think that's a really clever way to go about structuring your videos, because then we could also get the follow up
Yeah.
and whether the rest of the book lived up to what you experienced at the beginning, whether it was positive or negative. I think that would be really cool.
I like that. I like that. That's a good idea. Oh, I need to get writing ideas down because yeah, sometimes it's like I read my books, but I'm like, oh yeah, I need to make a video on it because I love it so much. And are like, oh, because I still haven't made a video on Black Tongue Thief.
And Piranesi, didn't you read that recently?
Yeah, I
Or
don't. Uh, I did a live
didn't connect to
discussion
it?
about it, but I just like
Yeah.
I I think if I make a video on it, I'm too scared to make it because I'm not going to be as glowing
Ah, got it.
toward
Yeah,
it, and I'd rather just not bring a spotlight to that.
for sure. Yeah.
And I'd rather not just hate on something. And I don't hate it, but
Right.
I don't want to be negative on something for the sake of it. If I didn't like something, I want to be honest about it and be like, hey, this is why I didn't like that. Let's talk about it. Why did
That
you
makes
love it?
sense. Yeah,
That kind of thing.
that makes perfect sense.
Guys, I think we need to hop off here. This was great. I could talk for another 4 hours.
Yeah, it went by so fast. So
Too
thank
fast.
you so much for having me,
Yeah.
and thank you to everyone in the chat. I thoroughly enjoyed everybody's comments, and they were coming fast, but they were wonderful. So thank you all so much, and thank you so much for hosting and having me on your channel.
And everything that we talk. Watch taking notes. Your channel is accessible and relatable. Well, thanks, Toby. That's awesome. Um, guys, thank you. Thank you so much. And video comes out Friday. Doing a live stream with David and Midnight Chronicler on
Oh, nice.
Tuesday,
Yay.
1:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'll keep you all updated. And if you don't know the community tab on YouTube, we have that unlocked. So you guys can make posts and talk. So by all means, start making posts, talk about things, share things you've been reading. All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you all so much.